Green flag at the back of the grid, the national flag waves. Greg Black dashes across to his Yoshimura cert bike, the YART Yamaha slowway, so is the factory BMW, and it's the F.C.C TSR Honda in second place that's following in the wheel tracks of Greg Black as they round the source cleanly. It looks as though the whole field has got away, but not the best of starts for Marvin Fritz and Sylvain Guintoli.
Yeah, absolute disastrous start there for the YART Yamaha and also the ERC bike with Ilya Mikelchik on it. I don't know what happened with the start. I saw the Yamaha porpoising grabbing on the front there.
Straight away, we see a move for the lead. That is Corentin Perolari around the outside of Greg Black. The F.C.C TSR Honda into the lead. The Yoshimura cert bike down to second, and it's Isaac Viñales on the 24 machine that is there in third place with John McPhee just behind him. So the inexperience of Viñales and McPhee, well, it's not holding them back. Look at Viñales close on Greg Black. He's pushing extremely hard on that number 24 Maxis by BMRT 3D Kawasaki.
Yeah, both that Honda and the Suzuki that are on Bridgestones, and those tyres do take a little while to come up to temperature, so they've always got to be careful on these opening couple of laps. But Viñales having a look up the inside of Greg Black there, and Viñales is actually he was a late recruitment to the Maxis team. They tested him quite late on in pre-season and decided to bring him in, and he's gone up the inside there of Greg Black.
Yeah, the young man from Girona, Spain, made his debut in 2022 in this championship, and he wants to lead lap one of this 8 hours of Spa-Francorchamps. Got his eyes set on the back of that Honda of Corentin Perolari. As it stands, it's the Frenchman that leads the Spaniard with Greg Black there in third place. Through to the bus stop chicane to complete the first tour. The whole field fairly cleanly through, although a difficult start for the YART Yamaha and the BMW. Corentin Perolari putting a bit of a gap on the field as second and third battle. John McPhee is through again up to the comp. Tati bike up to second place. And you can just see on the top left-hand side of your screen, Bridgestone, Pirelli, then Bridgestone, Dunlop. The Elite Dunlop bike's a stocker in seventh place. Now, you've touched on this. We haven't really spoken about it in depth, but these tyres all have different operating windows. These two, Greg Black and Sylvain Guintoli, they are following John McPhee. Corentin Perolari's long gone.
Yeah, Perolari's doing 2:20 flat.
Little mistake there from Greg Black, felt the pressure. And Sylvain Guintoli now up to third place. It's John McPhee and the Honda ahead of him.
Yeah, Greg just looked to lose the front there a little bit. Saw the bike just move underneath him, might be able to see from here. Yeah, the front just twitched on him. It gave all it needed for Guintoli to be up the inside. So we'll see now if Sylvain can chase down.
Well, the F.C.C TSR Honda bike was fastest in Thursday's private practice and free practice on Friday morning. And John McPhee getting beaten up by Greg Black there. Greg Black didn't want to allow Sylvain Guintoli an opportunity to go. He wants to go with that BMW and get past John McPhee as quickly as possible. And if you're John McPhee now, it's about really just trying to settle in behind these two at this moment. How many times have we said that about the Frenchman? The BMW is quick and Sylvain Guintoli is pushing on. He's bringing that gap down. Here is Corentin Perolari. We'll get a glimpse of Sylvain Guintoli in a moment as they round Pouhon. We're going back, that's the National Motors machine, the 55, those iconic colours, the blue and yellow, and of course the red added when they signed with Honda, that factory support that they have. National Motors, if you've ever been to France, huge dealership in Paris.
As I say, they've got to make an assessment, and there's a board and a panel of riders that relay that information back to the organisers.
Right, Marvin Fritz has got past Greg Black. This is the battle for third and fourth. Interestingly, in those inclement conditions, the last few laps, John McPhee on that Pirelli tyre, he's lost 10 seconds to these two. That's a huge amount. Marvin Fritz is 3 seconds behind Sylvain Guintoli, who in turn has now brought the gap down to 2.5 seconds. Guintoli is coming. There's the BMW in the first element of Pouhon, and he's chasing down Corentin Perolari, who, on the F.C.C. TSR Honda, has done a fantastic job out front. Complete lap 20 of this 8 hours of Spa Motos. There they are. That is first, second and third after 50 minutes of racing around this iconic Spa-Francorchamps circuit. It is Alan Techer who leads Karel Hanneke, who leads Markus Reiterberger. Honda, Yamaha, BMW battling it out for the top three, all on the Bridgestone tyres.
Well, the YART team, having been side to side with the F.C.C. Honda team, now find themselves cemented to another team. As we can see, that BMW Motorrad World Endurance team having more of a decent run. As we saw that Reiterberger struggled in his stint a little bit for speed. It certainly looks like Odendahl is able to live with the pace of the YART team.
You look at this is now very, very different. We've not seen this yet in this race.
And it's also how long do you leave it? Because you leave it too late, you can then have to do a whole lap. If it's chucking it down, oh, this is great. Oh, they've gone out on wets. Yeah. So they were expecting rain, they've gone out with wets. And do you know, BMW might have just timed this perfect here.
Well, this is another big conundrum for the teams and riders, is where you are on the circuit and when you make that call, because if you've just gone past pit lane, it's a 3-minute lap all of a sudden in these conditions, tiptoeing around, and you can lose a huge amount of time on those around you. So BMW in, Yoshimura Cert in, and they're Bridgestone shod bikes, so they will be on that wet weather tyre. Now the question on the tip of everyone's tongues is this in to stay, this rain, or will this just disappear like we've seen already over the opening 2.5 hours? 1 or 2 rain showers that have not really amounted to too much. But this is really nasty now, really treacherous, very, very difficult for the riders to manage these conditions, and one of those moments where you're glad you're sat in the commentary box, not about to go out on the pit apron.
And yeah, we're basically watching a completely different race now. The TSR team had such an advantage built up in the dry. They were doing an excellent job, great rhythm, great pace. Perolari was doing an excellent job. And now we're watching something completely different. We've got wet weather specialists out there. Jason's definitely great in the wet. Sylvain Guintoli is another great rider in the wet. Very experienced in the rain in England, obviously racing in BSB.
Thankfully, those pools are in pit lane, and I'm sure Greg and Simeone having a lovely time. Simeone in his white outfit, his his white Power Ranger outfit down there. I think he'd be hiding in the garages for a little while.
If Simeone gets outside, he's going to go see-through, because he's in a full white attire with white trousers and a white shirt. So yeah, he needs to be careful with this wet weather.
Well, and these are Runs at the sharp end. New leader then. O'Halloran has made up that gap, but whether Gintoli has had some issues outside of shock, whether he's gone off or whether he just doesn't have the feeling, he's certainly not got the pace. O'Halloran definitely with a point to prove, having not been out in the dry stint, now finds himself out in the wets and putting down a bit of a masterclass. You know, obviously hoping that Race Direction are looking at it, sort of having the same sort of thing. Is it a case of waiting for other riders to have that, enough riders to be also riding with their hands in the air?
Yeah, I mean, look at the standing water there. This is why Gintoli's making the point he's making.
Talking of pit lane, we're looking at the BMW garage because they know what's coming. Not just the rain, but Corentin Perolari and back markers do play a part, and Marcus Reiterberger getting all squirrely, trying to come out over the top of Rallion onto the Kemmel straight. Here comes Corentin Perolari. It's a battle of horsepower. That Honda is quick in a straight line. Is it as quick as the BMW? And can Reiterberger get that bike stopped up at the Comp? Yes, he can. This is like the last lap of a superbike race, and we've still got 3.5 hours to go of this 8 hours of Spa-Francorchamps. No one has told Corentin Perolari or Marcus Reiterberger.
I thought Reiterberger was going to run in deep there. He'd obviously got a sniff of Perolari just behind him, and you could see he didn't want to get caught on the brakes. Yeah, Perolari looked a little bit out of shape.
We are in to the penultimate hour, and the battle for the race lead is on. Here it is. You don't need a timing update because they are nose to tail, and Jason O'Halloran has caught the rear end of Corentin Perolari. 2 questions here. Can he pass him? And will Perolari then find the confidence to go with Jason O'Halloran if he leads?
I'm going to say Jason's going to blast past him here when you're going that much faster, providing there's no back markers in the way. And I'm going to guess that Perolari's not going to have the pace to go with him because he's going to have to find 2 seconds to go with him. Jason's last lap was a 32.9. He's gone faster again, which, I mean, he's pushed really hard to catch him, but I think once you're in that groove and once you're riding that well, once he's passed, Perolari will really have to push hard to find 2 seconds. And in the wet, that's a big ask.
Just to put that into perspective, Charlie Nesbitt in 7th, 2:42. Kenny Foray, 2:44 in 6th. Greg LeBlanc, 2:41 in 5th. Jason O'Halloran, 2:32s.
Yeah, I did speak to John McPhee, Charlie Nesbitt's teammate. They're actually on the Pirelli wet, and I think the Pirelli wet, John said this morning he went out and they were 10 seconds off, and he couldn't actually believe that it was 10 seconds different in the tyre. But he said now he's been on circuit in the race with them. The first half of this lap is really grippy. It's a new tarmac that's quite abrasive and grippy. And he said in that section it's not too bad, but once you arrive to the older surface, it sort of turns 10 and 11, it changes. And where it's slippy, the Bridgestone has got a lot more grip, and it really helps him there. It was a great pass by Jason to slide past him. See the smiles back on everyone's faces now in that garage.
Team manager Mandy Kites in the middle there. Nicolo Canepa, former rider, on the right-hand side, now holding that management position in Yamaha Europe. And of course, Carol Haneke looking on. Jason O'Halloran. We see the Aprilia down in the gravel. I will say, though, when you're out front and you think you're pushing on, or you think you're in those positions, and who's that?
Jason.
That is Jason O'Halloran. That is the lead bike. And just like that, real drama here. The YART Yamaha crew spring into action as they look on. Jason O'Halloran is down. They were going through and around back markers. It's on the exit of Bruxelles. And all of that hard work, that super stint, and that's a horrible looking accident.
That was so big, just caught up with a back marker there. He's slightly offline, I think. I don't know if he touched the white line or the inside curb. No, just let go. Oh, that noise is just horrible.
That let go so quickly, he had no option to shut it down immediately. And the speed of which he was flicked off the back of that.
He slapped his ankle so hard. Now they're coming in the pits. That's going to promote Greg Black and the Suzuki team. Oh, Jason, I'm not sure if he's broken his ankle, you know, or something here. The way he's hobbling.
Horrible to see. You really do feel for Jason O'Halloran there. He's helped out to get the medical attention that he needs. Just how beat up is he, and how beat up is this bike? Marvin Fritz has already been down the road. Don't forget, they were pushing.
Three of the best riders in the world, but I just think that Suzuki's been difficult to ride in this race. I think they've just struggled with the bike and the setup. We saw Dan having a debrief earlier on with the team, and he was saying the bike's just not, doesn't feel nice with that initial tap of the throttle. And
second round of the four to be held at the FIM Endurance World Championships here in Spa. It's been a race full of drama, full of high-octane action with treacherous conditions yet again in the Endurance Championships.
Exactly what we've come to expect of,
certainly is.
Of the EWC paddock.
It certainly is. And if you joined us in round one and have joined us throughout round two, you're going to expect this every week because it has been an absolutely brilliant battle. Lovely interchange moments between the riders as they hop on and off the bikes, each of them knowing their part, each of them understanding this is a big team game, a big team effort across the board. And the moment and the F.C.C. TSR Honda team have been waiting for, praying that they're going to get it across the line. Just a couple of turns away. Not necessarily been the quickest bike out there today in Spa, but they have been the most consistent. They have been the team that has got the job done in round two. And Alan Techer takes it across the line, victorious in round two. The F.C.C. TSR Honda France team have done the business in Belgium.
Yeah, what a fantastic performance for those guys. Done between just Alan Techer and Perolari. They've just done it as a two-man team. Made the decision not to run harder. And it's worked out perfectly for the Mazanet.
It really has, really has. And thoroughly deserved that second position. Again, great consistency. Gintoli almost had a moment in the treacherous conditions, but as a team, they've held it together. Stephen Odendahl, the man to take it across the line to secure second position for the BMW outfit. And then here comes the YART Yamaha, the team that almost had it in their grasp. It's been a really tough day for the YART Yamaha team, but they've got it across the line and on the podium, having had one of the most difficult outings that they've had.
And a one-handed wheelie in the wet. What a lad.
And, well, Joe, right from the get-go, these have been the super stockers to try and beat. And it has been a bit of a masterclass, really, hasn't it? The champion MRP Techmas team have really done a number on the rest of the grid.
Yeah, that's exactly, that was a textbook endurance race, to be honest with you, for those guys in the century screen there. Not a foot wrong. That bike's been faultless. Clean pit stops.
Corentin, first ever World Endurance victory. And what a victory. What a job you did today.
My first victory in endurance. I'm very happy. Very good job. Thank you on the team. Thank you at Alan. I'm very happy.